Sup, this is episode 17 of WoW, and it's the first edition of Random Thoughts. Usually for a while I pick a topic and I build a structured and scripted episode around it, but some things happened this week and it kind of caused me to lose focus, so when I sat down to write the episode, my mind was totally blank. So instead of writing an episode based on a topic, I'm going to actually do the episode based on the experiences and share some of my thoughts because there are some words of wisdom that can come from them. And I'm not looking for any sympathy, this is all for you, the viewer. So there's two scenarios. First scenario, Thursday, May 4th, 2017, I go to a funeral. It was the funeral of a young man that I've known since he was just a baby. Someone who had hopes, aspirations, dreams, plans, and goals just like the rest of us do, who had his life taken away from him very abruptly. I'm not going to go into details of what happened because that's a topic for another episode. The first lesson from this scenario is if there's something that you want to go and do it. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow, and there's no second chance and there's no do-over. Whatever it is you want to do, if you want to write a book, or if you want to pursue a certain career, or if you want to be a stripper, whatever it is, go and do it. Stop wasting time procrastinating I don't know if I should do it or not. You just got to go and do it. So anyways, while I'm at this funeral, I'm thinking, I've been here too many times for my age, especially at this particular funeral parlor. And I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces and there's so much love in the building. People that haven't seen each other in ages because of life or whatever. So I'm thinking, why do people wait until there's a tragedy to get together? The second lesson is to make time to see people that are important to you before it's their turn to go. There's only two guarantees in life, death and taxes. The first episode of WoW is all about that. Another thing I noticed as someone who's been to a fair amount of funerals in their day is that you'd be surprised at who shows up to your funeral, as well as you'd be shocked who doesn't show up to your funeral. The third lesson is to stop making time for people who don't give a shit about you. It's hard to figure out sometimes because sometimes your judgment could be clouded because you want someone to care. But a good starting point is this thought experiment. If you can visualize that a particular person wouldn't even show up at your funeral, then you probably shouldn't waste time on them. So anyways, that was Thursday. Second scenario. I wake up Friday, May 5th, 2017, and I'm scrolling my Instagram feed and I notice one of my friends posts a video of him kayaking in my other friend's backyard with the kayak touching the house, and I think to myself, wait a minute, the river doesn't go all the way up to the house. So I called my friend who owns the house and I'm like, hey man, what's going on? And he's like, I'm at war with Rivière des Prairies. If you're from Montreal, you should probably know this by now, but just in case you're not from Montreal or you weren't paying attention, there's a pretty serious flood happening right now. The island of Montreal is actually in a state of emergency right now. You may have seen pictures and videos on social media, but it really doesn't do it justice. It's a very surreal situation, especially if you're somebody like me who kind of spent a lot of time in the areas that are flooded. It doesn't even make sense how much water there is. This is the type of thing that's never happened in my lifetime. Anyway, so a whole bunch of us go over, and over the course of the weekend we managed to build these sandbag walls. I'm talking easily over 100,000 pounds of sand, not exaggerating, and luckily managed to keep the water out of our friend's house. The first lesson of this scenario is the importance of maintaining a strong support system, and you can do so by making sure you're feeding the soil and not just picking the fruit. If not, you'll be pretty fucked when disaster strikes because no one's going to want to help you out. Another thing I noticed that was kind of cool over the weekend is the amount of random people who would just stop by to offer food, a helping hand, sandbags. The second lesson is that there is good in the world and it's not all bad. So when you're in a situation that might seem hopeless, just keep in mind that there are people that will go out of their way to help out. But there was something else I noticed that was disgusting in my books. People literally driving up to the scene, rolling down the window, and taking a picture just for their social media feeds, and driving off without offering to help. One guy even got out of his car with his 2-year-old son and took a selfie of him and his son with the flooded street in the background. And I could have sworn that he asked one of us to gestured at one of us to move aside, hey, I need to take this picture right now. I've wrote a rant before about how people are addicted to social media and notifications and likes and views and comments and shares and blah, 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 blah. It's literally the equivalent of being addicted to alcohol, drugs, fucking porn, whatever. You getting out of your car with your son to take a selfie with the flooded waters in the background without offering to help anybody, just so you can get likes on your social media account, is the digital equivalent of you sucking dick for crack. In that sense, it's a form of prostitution. People are totally disconnected from society nowadays, to the point that when the city declares a state of emergency and has to set up a military command post outside of a pharmacy in a residential industrial area, people are more concerned with getting views and likes than offering a helping hand in a disaster. Don't get me wrong, you don't have to help out if you don't want to. And if you're walking by somewhere that's kind of flooded and you want to take pictures or whatever, cool. Even if you're helping out and you want to take pictures, cool. But if you specifically go out of your way just to take a photo of people struggling to keep a house from being submerged underwater for your social media feed, you seriously need to reevaluate your priorities in life. So that's the end of the first edition of Random Thoughts. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have anything to add, you can let me know in the comments below. Also, if you know someone who would find this video helpful, feel free to share with them because sharing is caring. I'll be posting episode 18 next week. I post a new episode every Wednesday, and in the meantime, you can email me at tc@troycarter.com if you have something you want me to talk about, as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll be the first to know when I post something new. Peace.